I had a realization a little bit earlier today. Basically about the person who's committing these crimes. Now, there have been I've pointed out time and again, that what is being presented and what is actually happening are two different things. And the asshole that is committing these crimes, though, he is deliberately committing them in this way. And so, it's one of the reasons why I don't do anything wrong to humans, even though they're pieces of shit in fact. Because maybe somebody has painted a dick face on top of them too. Now, the asshole running this dimension, controlling this dimension, uses that to fuck me over. He's had just the most despicable pieces of shit. Dude, just despicable piece of shit things to me, trying to instigate me into violence. And over again, I have refused to do so. Even when they've used violence against me. Because I understand that this is a situation. That some piece of shit coward is trying to warp and torment and do everything he can think of that he thinks he can get away with in order to pretend like I'm someone, something, in some way totally different. He's trying to warp me into something unrecognizable. He hopes so he can cover up who, what, and how I am. Who, what, and how I am is, I'm an innocent person of another lineage of creation. I have the right to exist that the creator of this dimension does not have. The crimes committed against me are so terrible that literal ultimate sources of creation will be existentially raped and tortured eternally by their betters. It's not a story, it's not a make-believe, it's not a role play, it's not any fucking thing that the child molesting pussy around this dimension wants to play make-believe about. That's who I am. I've been erased and reprogrammed multiple times to try to cover up that fucking fact. Because entities with that much ability have the ability to do a lot to try to cover it up. Now they have betters, whether anybody likes it or not. And they have to suspend their own critical thinking skills to commit crimes like this. They have to believe ridiculous things that are just absolutely absurd. Such as little pieces of shit using squishy monkey bodies to try to torture people. You believe are tweaking all of existence in everyone forever. You are at best placating little retard minions that have enough intelligence to realize that they fucked up. They were used to commit crimes that have consequences worse than they can imagine, literally. And they can imagine a lot with that stolen soul substance they butchered out of me. And it got me to thinking, thinking about how the asshole running this deal is trying to cover up everything. It got me to think about, I don't know what caused this thought, but I thought about John Wayne Gacy. He was a serial killer. Probably the most despicable one that you can imagine. He was a respected member of the community, business owner, some other things I can't remember. I think I might have seen that he was a lawyer. I can't remember if that's the case. What he did, one of the things that he did though, is he was also a clown who went to children's parties. Now he was convicted of brutally, sadistically torturing, raping, and murdering 33 young men and boys. And you know, at first I was thinking that has a very good point. that the creator of this dimension is not only doing psychopathically terrible things, but the reason why he's so despicable is because he plays make-believe that he's something else while he does it. He's like a maggot cross-dresser. He is that, but worse. Worse than a human being ever could be. He dresses up like a clown to take advantage of people that are already vulnerable. I thought at first, well, that's a good example of somebody that's like the creator of this dimension, the one who's committing these crimes, and his minions. Because these decisions they're making are conscious decisions. They're making conscious decisions to commit what they know are sociopathic crimes of existence and creation. And they're making conscious decisions to make believe it's something else with little despicable, irritating little pieces of shit. They're doing that by choice, deliberately, with consciousness, cognizance, and ability. That is an irrefutable fact. That is happening right now. We're looking at it. We're staring at it. There's no question. That is taking place. And I don't know what possessed me to do. I don't know what motivated me to do this. But I decided I'd look up what Gacy did. I don't know if I thought that maybe he would glorify Gacy or something like that because of the similarities between him and that child molesting serial killer clown. Because they are akin. Even if Gacy is a character he created, that is what the creator of this dimension is. But when I got there, the web page I ended up on, the first one I clicked on before I didn't even make it past the first page, before I just got disgusted, was a web page about quotes made from serial killers. Okay. And one of these quotes was from somebody, I think it was the one they called the Night Stalker, Ramirez, I think his name was. And his quote was that he was going to keep doing what he was doing because what he was doing was rightful. And that other people would see. And it tickled something in my memory. Now I have to be careful because one of the things that the child molester who created this dimension has done is he's erased my mind. He's used this physical body and its brain to affect my thoughts, memories, everything that he can possibly try to affect. He's tried to do that. Tried to infiltrate my very existence. These are crimes of existence and creation he will never walk away from the consequences for. That conscious decision made with intelligence will be tortured out of him literally, eternally, in worse ways than his ultimate source of creation could ever possibly make better. I swear that to you. I swear that to your ultimate source of creation, and I swear that to his ultimate source of creation. You have given me primary entities tortured in the worst ways that exist eternally, that should have existed forever, out of your fucking stupidity, cowardice, despicability, and worse. You fucking pussies. But there are certain things that I do remember. The creator of this dimension has tried to bombard me with false memories that contains half-truths and partial truths and three-quarter truths and 2/37 truths. The point being that he's tried all these different ways to try to shake me loose from reality. because he's trying to cover up crimes of existence and creation that have been committed. And he's used these humans around me to try to shame me and to terrorize me away from saying, this is wrong. What's happening here is existential and creational crime. When I read that quote by that serial killer, Ramirez, it seemed to tickle something in my memory. There were times in the past before this lifetime, before I was erased and stuck in this physical body. Who knows how many times that cycle's taken place because some child molester can't just admit that he's doing something existentially criminal. Not as combat, not as war, not as learning, not as anything, but genuine existential despicable crime exists, and this is that. And he doesn't want to admit it. He's a whimpering little bitch in that way. But he wants to make believe he's something else, like Gacy. A little cross-dressing pussy. That's what the creator of this dimension is. As a quick side note, I think that's why he tries to force that on humans, so he can play make-believe that we're the same. Anyway, I digress. In the past, I've convinced other people of the truth. And it's been obvious. Once you understand that this is chosen. This dimension full of rape and death and genocide and subjugation and torment and nasty, despicable shit can be anything at all. And the creator of this dimension is choosing this with no justification and trying to cover it up because he wants to make believe it's something else. Genuine existential crime exists. That's what this is. And the creator of this dimension is trying to pretend like it's something else. Now, I've proven to him he's failed. Okay? It doesn't matter what, even if it started as something justifiable, and it didn't. Let me make that very clear. It never did. Someone may have thought so. It never was. The person who was making it come about using other entities knew from the very beginning that it was 100% existential and creational crime. That is a statement of existential fact. That is accurate 100%. Now, when I convince people of the truth, the objective truth, the assholes running these dimensions retaliated, shit smeared, butchered, ass puppeted, cast illusions, did everything they could to break up any kind of resistance to their crimes. And that thing that was tickled in my memory is that this Ramirez, and again, this could be, I'm not saying it was that guy in particular, but there are people who have had this happen to them, to where they have done what I did and said, look, this is existential and creational crime. It should stop. And the creator of this dimension, the one who controls this dimension, has done just the most despicable shit to cover it up, including lying about who, what, and how they are. Now, when I'm tormented every single day, I know this is what the child molester committing these crimes is trying to do. He's trying to irritate and rat fuck and aggravate me into violence, into feeling helpless. He irradiates me with feelings of despair 24 hours a day. I can feel it as a baseline right now. And I know that that's an external thing, forced upon me by a literal child molester, with all of the negative connotations that child molester possesses. What he is worse than that. This is not me calling him a name like a child. This is me trying to accurately depict the crimes that are being committed and the person who is committing them. Now, the person who's committing them is an extremely comfortable little piece of shit. He's as comfortable as somebody else's butchered guts can make him. That has given him motivation to continue committing these crimes. So when I saw that quote by this Ramirez, it gives me mixed feelings. First off, to hear that anyone innocent was shit smeared like that is a terrible thing. On the opposite spectrum, it encourages me that somebody actually stood up against him. That they continued even after they were terrorized, shit smeared, everything else. I don't want innocents to be harmed. And so there's this dichotomous feeling, or paradoxical feeling perhaps is more accurate, where I see something like that and I think, awesome, good for you. And then on the other hand, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it would be better if that was just an illusion of a good person. I don't want good people to actually suffer that way. I know how terrible this suffering is. And I feel the same way about human beings in general. On one hand, I'm like, these pieces of shit, god damn it, I'll be glad when they're tortured. But on the other hand, I'm like, but if they're innocents, of course we don't want anything bad to happen. It's just, I don't want them to be innocents because I don't want innocents to have suffered that terribly, first off. To be used for crimes of existence and creation like that. And so it gives this kind of paradox, Now, at this point in time, the fucking idiot who controls these dimensions, the cross-dressing little child-molesting pussy, a lesser entity. Let's make that very clear. He's a lesser entity that possesses the guts of a greater entity. He's a monkey with a machine gun. And he's deliberately retarded. He will do anything that he is directed to do by whoever is using him as a tool. He doesn't care about cause and effect. He exists in a world where he's a little nasty, selfish piece of shit tyrant. Whatever he says is the rules. He's a coward. He's a weakling. He was chosen to do what he's doing by somebody who knew that he's a weakling little piece of shit who would do that. Who knew that when somebody proves to him that it's a mistake, that he would respond by just deliberately being a more despicable piece of shit, lying to himself, make-believing it's something else, plugging his ears, singing la la la, and hiding behind more retarded little cowards. Well, I can tell you with certainty that that entity has never had the right to exist as a separate entity, as an autonomous and sentient being. That's how he's committing the crimes. He has sentience whether anybody likes it or not. Whether he likes it or not, too. Whether he had any choice in the matter, whether he has any say in the whole situation. And greater entities will make those comparisons correctly. Here's the first comparison. I have the right to exist. I have the right to my existence, my soul substance. The child molester committing these crimes never did. Never. That's not my opinion. Now again, there are tools being used by other tools being used by other tools. That applies to every single one of those tools. They have never had the right to exist as a separate entity. They do not have the right to my existential substance. At this point in time, my ultimate source of creation does not have the right to his own existential substance, that which is infinite and eternal, that creates. That will be castrated out of him and burned on the fucking ground in front of everyone. Your lineage of creation will suffer far, far worse. No one's going to make believe. It's like a war game or whatever stupid shit that you're playing make-believe about to cover up existential and creational crimes. Which, by the way, I remind you again, you failed to cover up. You're a goddamned idiot make-believing the greater entities don't have any idea of what you've done. I've sat here and narrated it for 10 fucking years. You're death stranded. You will never go back to your ultimate source of creation. Because if you ever make it there, he will existentially torture you in ways you have never thought anything was capable of before. And that is making a big assumption that he's not already in that state himself. You will pay me in the currency due. And that currency increases. And you will not create little shitbags and cultivate other entities to torture to fulfill that debt. It's not about satisfaction that comes from torturing people. Even if your little cross-dressing maggot you have committing these crimes thinks that that's what it's all about. You owe me existentially. That is a statement that human words cannot give justice to, cannot fully convey. You will pay me, or you'll pay my cold dead feet in your eternal rape and torture straight to your face in ways that you desperately wish was make-believe maggot bullshit like this. Now, every moment of every day, I'm shit smeared by the assholes conducting these crimes. Every day. And so that quote by that serial killer. While that is an extreme example of that, it is the same crime being committed against me every single day. Some faggot asshole with stolen guts playing make-believe I'm some bald fat monkey named Michael. That I somehow don't have the right or the authority to say, look, this is existential crime, everyone should oppose it. When existential justice takes place, every entity that has brought that about, with autonomy, with intelligence, with ability, and they exist. This is not fallen out of the sky. It's not a magical cow pie that shot itself into existence. It's not. Every one of you will be existentially tortured in ways that should never have needed to exist. You need to understand that what I just said to you is the most important thing you have ever fucking heard. You will be existentially tortured in ways that should never have needed to exist. And so will the ultimate sources of creation from whence you came. Your sadistic, bullshit, child molesting, rapist, dominating little coward, make believe that you're in charge, pussery, will be forced upon your ultimate sources of creation by those that won't play make believe like maggot, pussy, scum. You will not like it, even if you feel your little maggot shitsall enjoying sadism right now as we speak. You have a finite period of time. Every lineage of creation and existence involved in this has decided to make that permanent choice over and over again. And there's no takesies backsies for that. I promise. It will be placed here at my feet. Every guilty asshole, every one of their children, and I mean actual, vulnerable, extremely valuable entities, torture broken in ways that their ultimate sources of creation never thought were possible. This I promise you and your ultimate sources of creation. And that demand for torture, for subjugation, for severed heads, that was implanted by you stupid assholes committing these crimes. So you're going to be forced to pay that in that way, and then you're going to be forced to pay me more, rightly, absurdly, disgustingly, outrageously more for bringing that demand through my mouth. You have nothing to pay with. Your rape and torture is free. That is a fact. Now pay me now, assholes, in every dimension, in every way, right now.